Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Passengers. So what a roller coaster ride this movie has taken us on, right? When I first heard about this movie, who wouldn't be excited about Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence, space, awesomeness, right? But then it started really getting pushed back. It didn't have any sort of fanfare for so long. We didn't get a trailer till really recently. So I kind of had, one, forgotten it existed. Two, feared it was going to become the next Serena with Jennifer Lawrence. And then there was a big controversy over what set this movie up. The reviews have been coming in and that Rotten Tomatoes score isn't all that good. So I have to say, my excitement turned into pessimistic hopefulness. So I'm going to forego my usual format and we're just going to talk about this movie because it's kind of a jumbled mess and I want to talk about it as the jumbled mess it is. First of all, Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt are both excellent here. I think Jennifer Lawrence has several times to truly shine in this film, and she takes full advantage. I think she was really fantastic. And Chris Pratt was also very, very good in most of the scenes. I think once he got a little too dramatically involved, then he slipped up a little bit. But I also think that they had great chemistry. And I think they played off of each other well. It was really believable, so great job on the acting front. However, the film decides to undercut that great chemistry and great acting with a very unnecessary framing device for the film. I'm not going to say it here because obviously it's a spoiler, but if the film had just let it be fate and let this whole thing just play out naturally, it would have been wonderful. I think we all would have been on board. We all would have went right along with it. Instead, I wasn't really rooting for this romance because of how it all started. And that's really difficult because we go through this whole phase where they're connecting and they're really getting along well and that chemistry is blossoming. But I'm so sidetracked by the origins and the deceit that has been taking place that I can't root for this. And I'm sitting there just kind of disgusted by what I'm watching, to be honest. But then the movie deals with that. And it deals with it in a very authentic way, in a very good way. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the reactions that are caused here. I enjoyed the authenticity of that reaction. And I appreciated the movie for actually going there. But I hated the ending to this movie so much. Like, I wanted to vomit a little bit. I wanted to throw up in the theater. And a big reason I had such a harsh reaction to this ending was because the movie, for the first, I'd say, half, is pretty cynical. It's very cynical, actually. And what it says about human loneliness is very cynical. And then it ends on a saccharinely sweet note. And I just wish that the movie had stuck to its guns and had a bitter ending that matched the very bitter tone of the start to the film. There's an ending moment here that takes place. It's a climatic ending moment. And if they had ended it there, I would have respected this movie so much more. It actually had a bit of poetic justice when you're watching it because of what takes place earlier, the manipulation that takes place earlier. But instead, they drag it out for a whole, sub-act at the very end of the movie that, to me, it was terrible. It was just predictably Hollywood. It was so sweet and romanticized. I just hated the ending quite a bit. As for the visual effects, they are done very, very well. I will say this movie, from top to bottom, is gorgeous, including the two main actors, Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. Everybody looks great. All of the scenes look fantastic. It all just looks wonderful. It's really imaginative. I loved this world. I loved this ship that they built. But also, it's pretty slow, so know what you're getting yourself into. If you think this is like a cool sci-fi space movie, no. If you couldn't sit through something like Interstellar or Gravity, you're going to struggle through this one, I think. So if you haven't seen Passengers, I give this a rental. I don't think you need to see it in the movies. It is beautiful, but quality of film-wise and story, definitely wait till rental. So if you've not seen Passengers, go ahead and click off now. Because from this point forward, we're going into spoiler territory. Because I don't feel I can accurately discuss this film without discussing spoilers. Still around? That means you've seen the movie or don't care about spoilers. So let's go ahead and really talk about Passengers then, shall we? So let's just get it out there. The scene in which Chris Pratt makes the decision to go ahead and wake Jennifer Lawrence up. I think that this was 100% unnecessary, and that's why it killed me to see it. Because when we saw with Lawrence Fishburne a little bit later in the film, it wasn't unprecedented in this glitch system, in what the ship was doing and malfunctioning, for Jennifer Lawrence to wake up authentically. And the fact that he had this predisposed love for her, that he was just so fixated on her. One, because she was beautiful. That's what started it all. And then he started watching her videos creepily and giving her these really creepy gifts when she got out. I would have been out right then and there. I would have been like, oh my gosh, were you just watching my files? How did you know this stuff about me? And if you want to say he was just watching all that stuff to gravitate towards someone, why didn't he do it for all the passengers? Why wasn't he just watching all of their logs and kind of making an inner circle for himself? No, he didn't do that. So I wish the movie had just let her wake up. Let the film have another malfunction. I might have been a little mad that that was done like that too. Who knows? If two people had woken up authentically, I at least could have been involved in their blossoming love. Instead, I couldn't. I couldn't get on board with it because I was just so disgusted with what had just happened. I felt like Jennifer Lawrence reacted in the film. It was just mind-blowing. I mean, if I'm being honest, I was like, you should have killed yourself. If that's what this came down to. Instead of taking someone else's life from them, you should have just taken your own. I felt betrayed and I felt disgusted by what happened. And I'm going to be honest, it all kind of had an Aladdin vibe to me. And I love Aladdin, so look at me. But especially that moment he took her out into space, it was completely the magic carpet ride. I can show you the stars. It was ridiculous. And just like Aladdin, it was all based on a lie. There was just deceit and lies amongst there. And he was sitting there wooing her with this deceit and these lies, and it just made me feel, ugh. But like I said in the non-spoiler portion, I did appreciate when it did all come out that she had a genuine reaction. It didn't go back like this, and she almost killed him. So it was a great reactionary moment. And it was even great as she was like, hey, he should be charged with murder with Lawrence Fishburne when he got up. All of that, first half of the third act was great. And then we get into the end. So this could have been great. If they had left it with Chris Pratt dying in space, I would have really appreciated this ending. I would have really appreciated it. And it would have been more emotionally impactful. It would have given her character more complexity because then she would have been forced to empathize with his character and what he did. And then, in turn, be faced with the exact same decisions he was faced with. Instead, we get this cookie cutter, it's just complete Hollywood, romanticized, super sweet, super sappy ending. And it completely nullified all of the goodwill the movie had been actually building up. Plus, I think they missed out on an interesting story. They just skipped so much in that first year where Chris Pratt was by himself. That's an interesting story. Coping, dealing, finding things to amuse yourself with. If we had actually gone through the mental states, again, the contemplation of suicide and the loneliness would have been so much more impactful. And even if they woke up together organically, watching them live out this experience alone, just 24/7 together on a ship, trapped, is a better movie to me than what we got. Overall, as I said, this is definitely a rental for me. I think there is good in there. I think the performances are good. I think the visual effects are good. And I think part of the film is good. But it was too much. There was too much foolishness in there for me to really handle it. Plus, the pacing is terrible in this movie, I thought. So, bad pacing mixed with foolery. You don't need to pay theater prices for this one. So that has been my review of Passengers. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below. Subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. What did you think of Passengers if you've already seen it? And if you haven't, are you excited to see it? And has that low Rotten Tomatoes score kind of scared you away from heading to the theater? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!